The Atlantic had a way of hiding sins. Storms scrubbed the surface clean, tides buried secrets beneath miles of pressure and time, and humanity, arrogant, distracted humanity, assumed that whatever lay below belonged to the past. Shipwrecks. Bones. Trash. History neatly drowned. That illusion died at 6:41 Universal Time Coordinated. The research vessel Aquila's Reach floated above a trench that did not exist on any map older than 6 months. Satellite gravimetry had flagged it as an anomaly, an impossible wound carved into the seabed, too precise to be natural, too deep to be accidental. At first, analysts blamed software glitches. Then the glitch started emitting electromagnetic pulses every 23 hours. Like a heartbeat. Dr. Elias Ward stood on the aft deck, wind tugging at his gray hair, eyes narrowed at the churning water. He was 56, built like a man who had once carried rifles instead of research tablets. His left knee ached, a souvenir from a desert war that politicians now pretended had never happened. "Sonar sweep complete," a young technician said, voice tight. "It's not geological." Elias didn't answer immediately. He'd learned long ago that silence made people honest. "What is it, then?" he finally asked. The technician swallowed. "It's symmetrical. Hull curvature. Internal voids. Whatever's down there, it was built." The word built landed hard. Elias exhaled slowly. "Depth? Just over 3 miles. Material? Unknown. No corrosion. No biofouling. It's like it arrived yesterday." No one said the obvious. No one joked. Gallows humor only worked when death was familiar, and this was not. The ROV descended into blackness, light slicing through pressure, and cold. The ocean floor emerged like a dead moon, silt drifting in slow motion. Then the camera caught it. Metal. Not steel. Not titanium. Something darker, smoother, swallowing light instead of reflecting it. A massive crescent shape, half buried nose first, as if the planet itself had tried to swallow it and failed. "Jesus Christ!" someone whispered. Elias leaned closer to the monitor. His military instinct screamed. Impact angle. Controlled descent. Crash landing. "This thing didn't fall," he said quietly. "It hid." The breach took hours. Laser cutters barely scratched the hull until someone tried a harmonic resonance trick, vibrating the metal at just the right frequency. The surface rippled like water, then parted. Air rushed out. Actual, breathable air. "That's not possible," Dr. Sana Iqbal said, her voice shaking despite years of combat's own medicine. "After this long." "Unless it's been maintaining itself," Elias said. "Or sleeping." They entered. The interior was wrong in the way only alien architecture could be. No sharp corners. No straight corridors. Surfaces curved organically, like the inside of a living thing that had decided to pretend it was a machine. Dim light pulsed from the walls, reacting to human movement. And then they found the bodies. Tall. Thin. Gray-blue skin stretched over angular frames. Four-limbed, but not symmetrical the way humans expected. Armor fused directly to flesh, etched with symbols that seemed to crawl if stared at too long. Soldiers. Elias knelt beside one, gloved hand hovering before touching the alien's chest plate. It was cold. Solid. Dead for a very long time. "Cause of death?" Sana asked, fighting nausea. "Violent," Elias said. He pointed. "Blunt trauma. Burns. Shrapnel. These weren't explorers." He pried a crystalline rod from one corpse's grasp. Cracked at one end. "A weapon, broken in use. Looks like they lost," someone muttered. That's when the ship woke up. A low-frequency hum rolled through the chamber, vibrating teeth and bones. Red light flooded the corridors. Symbols erupted across the walls, resolving into holograms that snapped into focus with chilling clarity. Stars. Fleets. Worlds burning. A voice followed, metallic, layered, translated imperfectly but clearly enough. Designation: Observation Vessel K317. Mission elapsed time: 3,214 local cycles. Crew status: terminated. Mission status: failure. Sanaa's breath caught. Failure? The hologram shifted. Early Earth appeared, lush, green, crawling with primitive human settlements. The alien figures watched from orbit, dissected, experimented. Humans captured. Studied. Labeled. Then the images changed. Humans fighting back. Crude traps. Poisoned water sources. Ambushes at night. Entire villages vanishing, only for alien patrols to be found butchered days later. The voice continued colder now. Primary cause of mission failure: unexpected human resistance. Adaptive aggression exceeds projected thresholds. Species classified high risk. The room was silent. Elias laughed. It wasn't humor. It was recognition. 3,000 years ago, he said softly. Stone tools. Fire. And we still made them bleed. The final image showed the ship crippled, engines aflame, diving into the ocean to escape pursuit. Escape from us. Suddenly, alarms screamed. Energy spike! Someone shouted. It's transmitting! Shut it down! Sanaa yelled. Too late. A signal punched upward through water and sky, a tight beam scream aimed at the stars. Old. Encoded. A distress call that had waited millennia for someone, anyone, to hear it. Elias felt cold settle into his gut. They marked us once, he said. That signal just told them we're still here. What do we do? A technician asked, panic breaking through professionalism. Elias stared at the alien dead, at the broken weapon in his hand, at the proof that humanity had already fought a war it never remembered. He straightened. We learned, he said. Everything. The ship dimmed, returning to its long sleep. Above them, the ocean rolled on, innocent and indifferent. Far beyond it, something ancient turned its gaze back toward Earth. And this time, it would not be alone. They arrived 43 days later. Humanity had known the moment would come, and yet, no briefing, no simulation, no training could prepare anyone for the sheer scale of it. 12 Velthri warships appeared in orbit simultaneously, tearing through the atmosphere like metal leviathans from some nightmare sea. Each one eclipsed the moon when viewed from Earth, bristling with weapon arrays humans hadn't yet named. Dr. Elias Ward watched from a military command bunker, underground, surrounded by screens glowing with panic. The world outside was already crumbling into hysteria. Governments tried to broadcast calm. Citizens fled. Pilots gripped their controls like lifelines, knowing no training could match the aliens' speed and firepower. The Velthri transmitted a message, not speech, but a low-frequency pulse converted into human-readable language. The words burned like acid in the mind. Humanity is a rogue species. You were marked for pacification. Submit or be erased. Diplomats scrambled. The UN convened emergency sessions. The Velthri ambassador, a towering, chitinous horror with segmented limbs that hovered above the floor, spoke once, then left, laughing. Truly laughing. You misunderstand us, it said, voice like grinding gears. We have observed. You were spared once by accident. This time, there will be no errors. They underestimated humanity. Again. Because humanity did not panic. Humanity prepared. Elias gathered his team in a nondescript bunker under the ruins of a long-abandoned missile silo. Engineers, ex-soldiers, and civilians with uncanny skills crowded the room. All eyes turned to the alien ship they had recovered from the ocean, now lying in a reinforced, mobile hangar. Its hull had been opened, revealing panels, conduits, and weapon nodes that glimmered with alien energy. Sanaa Iqbal, veteran of more than one ground war, leaned against the console. We're talking about an empire that ruled half the galaxy through terror. They'll crush us. Elias smirked. They crushed civilizations before us. That doesn't mean we can't make them wish they hadn't. The first strikes were surgical. Human engineers fused alien power cores to Earth weapons, submarines, tanks, even old cargo ships became walking or floating bombs of impossible destruction. They did not fight like humans in history books, they fought like predators. Ambushes, feints, psychological warfare amplified by alien tech. When the first human weapon hit a Valkyrie cruiser, it wasn't an explosion, it was a devouring. Energy reacted unpredictably with alien shielding, tearing the hull apart from within. The alien commander's panicked shriek echoed across interstellar channels. "What is that weapon?" A calm, cold human voice answered. "Recycled." The Valkyrie adapted, but slowly. They deployed orbital bombardments, city killers, orbital mines. Entire fleets disappeared in hours. Human losses were high, but the survivors adapted faster, improvising against attacks in ways the aliens had not anticipated. The AI from the ocean ship became humanity's tutor, revealing vulnerabilities in alien tactics and technology. Elias stood in the operations room, staring at the live feed from Jakarta, which smoldered under a Valkyrie laser strike. The screams of thousands reverberated through every channel. The pain was real. The cost was real. Sana approached, voice trembling. "We can't, this is escalating. Civilian casualties." Elias cut her off. "They don't care about civilians. They harvested us like lab rats 3,000 years ago. Every life lost is them learning that we fight back. Every death is proof they miscalculated." Then Elias activated the ship's final secret, a directive encoded deep in the alien vessel, a failsafe designed to annihilate or neutralize Valkyrie fleets if the crew ever deemed the mission a failure. Humanity had discovered the code, translated it, and modified it. Not to kill instantly, but to turn Valkyrie systems against themselves. "This is it," he said. "The part they feared. The part they left behind for a reason. We either cripple them here, or we die trying." Sana swallowed, staring at the display. "If we do this, whole worlds." Elias nodded. "Yes. But it's payback they've been dodging for millennia. It's not revenge, it's justice." And somewhere beyond the void, the Valkyrie fleet faltered, unaware that their own technology was awakening against them. Entire ships powered down spontaneously. Fleet communication loops jammed from the inside. AI directives misfired. The humans had become not conquerors, but the ultimate disruptors. The aliens had assumed the species beneath them would be predictable, fearful, controllable. They had assumed wrong. Elias smiled grimly. "They think this is a war of conquest. It's not. It's a reckoning." The first real human boarding teams prepared for jump, armed with alien rifles, armor, and grit that no simulation could replicate. The Valkyrie didn't yet understand the species they had underestimated. They had no idea that humans didn't surrender. They had no idea that, for humanity, survival was a game they played to the very edge of impossibility, and sometimes beyond. And this was only the beginning. The Valkyrie thought they had seen fear. They hadn't. Elias Ward stood in the scorched command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, dust coating his coat, monitors flickering with data from around the globe. Human losses had been staggering. Cities burned. Thousands of civilians and soldiers alike were gone, swallowed by alien firepower that made the world's worst nuclear tests look like fireworks. But humanity, scrappy, stubborn, relentless humanity, kept fighting. Sana Iqbal appeared beside him, wiping soot from her face. "Are you sure about this? Using the directive? If we activate it, we could destabilize entire Valkyrie systems. Innocents, aliens, slaves, everything." Elias's gaze was unyielding. 3,000 years ago, they experimented on us. Tried to wipe us out. They enslaved planets. This isn't about innocence. It's about survival, and making sure history remembers them correctly. He keyed the final sequence. The human-modified alien directive activated. Across Valkyrie space, dormant observation ships, long abandoned, buried in orbital graveyards, flared to life. They didn't just turn against humans. They turned against their own. Entire fleets fell into chaos. Systems meant to govern, to police, to conquer, failed spectacularly. Veltri worlds once thought untouchable became death traps for their own masters. Ships exploded in the sky as automated defense systems targeted the wrong fleet, while enslaved species watched in disbelief. Generals and scientists who had believed in the Dominion's inevitability screamed into comms channels that now carried only static. The Veltri ambassador reappeared on every communication node, mandibles quivering. "What have you done, human?" Elias's face appeared on the hollow screen above, tired, old, and impossibly calm. "We read your history," he said. "You rule with fear. You erase cultures. You think resistance is impossible. You were wrong." Every fleet, every command center, every slave colony turned on its master. What the Veltri had built over centuries crumbled in days. Humanity did not take worlds. They didn't need to. They were the spark, the ignition that ignited revolt across half the galaxy. Then the boarding actions began. Human marines, armed with alien weaponry scavenged and repurposed, cut through Velthri's ships like wildfire. Close-quarters combat was brutal, unforgiving. The aliens' superior technology meant little in tight corridors when humans fought with knives, shotguns, and sheer unpredictability. One Velthri captain, cornered on his bridge, hissed at a human soldier. "Why do you fight like animals?" The soldier's finger tightened on the trigger. "Because animals don't surrender." By the third week, the Dominion's fleets were fragmented. Entire command structures had been decimated by systems they once trusted, turned against them by humans who had only recently discovered how to read alien schematics. Every victory, every sabotage, every brutal ambush reminded the Velthri that they had misjudged Earth. They had assumed primitive resistance. They faced a species that thrived on chaos, ingenuity, and vengeance tempered by discipline. Elias watched it all from a forward command node orbiting the Pacific. "We're not done," he said. "But they're learning." And learning was lethal. With the directive fully deployed, Velthri satellites misfired, orbital strikes failed, and AI defenses collapsed. Entire planets that once served as production hubs for the Dominion were freed. Humanity did not occupy them, but they broadcasted warnings, offered aid, and ensured the lesson was remembered. The galaxy would know: humanity did not forgive. Humanity did not forget. Then came the final communication. The Velthri ambassador, desperate, barely coherent, spat through static-filled comms. "You will pay. Every human will pay for this." Elias smiled faintly. "We already have," he said, eyes cold. 3,000 years ago. Today is just collection. By the time the last Velthri command ship fell, the galaxy was silent. Not peaceful. Not safe. Silent. The balance of power had shifted, and not in favor of any empire. Humanity had proven that even a species underestimated for millennia could rewrite destiny with a blend of cunning, rage, and sheer audacity. Elias allowed himself a rare moment of reflection. They had survived the impossible. They had taken the fight to an empire that thought them inconsequential. And somewhere deep in the wreckage of alien pride, the universe had learned a simple, terrifying truth. Do not underestimate humans. Ever. Because when humans fight, they do not stop. 3 years later, the galaxy was quieter, but not peaceful. Elias Ward stood again on the edge of the Atlantic, wind biting, rain sliding off his coat, the alien ship from the ocean displayed in a specially reinforced museum nearby. Its hull was split open, revealing the alien technology humans had barely begun to understand. Tourists and scientists alike marveled at the vessel, unaware of the blood and strategy that had accompanied its rediscovery. Sana Iqbal approached, her boots crunching on the wet gravel. "You're a hero now," she said, voice soft, almost embarrassed. Elias chuckled, bitter. "Heroes don't survive to see the nightmares that follow. We won battles, yes, but at what cost?" Humanity had not taken Velthri worlds. They did not conquer. They did not enslave. They had dismantled, sabotaged, and demonstrated power in ways that left the galaxy trembling. Formerly subjugated species now governed themselves, free from Velthari oversight. And yet Elias knew the lesson had been learned everywhere. Earth had teeth sharp enough to sever empires. An alien historian, forced into exile after the collapse of the Dominion, later wrote in a trembling journal, "Humanity is the only species to turn first contact into a war of vengeance spanning millennia. They do not forget. They do not forgive. They adapt, and they strike with precision that is terrifying to witness. They are not conquerors. They are reckoning incarnate." Elias placed his hand on the cold, black metal of the ocean ship. It had waited millennia, and now, its secrets had rewritten history. The waves whispered against the hull, indifferent. Senna touched his shoulder. "Do you think they'll try again?" He let out a slow breath. "They might. Other empires will. But now they know us. Now they remember." In the void between stars, alien fleets recalculated. Commanders argued over what had gone wrong, over underestimating the primitive species called humans. And somewhere, in the darkness, the remnants of the Velthari Empire shivered under a simple truth they could not escape. If humans find your weapons, they won't ask how they work. They'll ask who deserves them. And they always find them. Elias turned back to the ocean, the wind tearing at his face. Somewhere beneath the waves, the ancient ship had taught humanity a lesson in patience, intelligence, and vengeance. Somewhere, the galaxy learned that Earth was not a target to be tamed, it was a storm waiting to strike. And storms, as the universe now knew, did not negotiate. Elias smiled faintly, eyes hardening. "They should have left us alone." The ocean answered with silence. And humanity, bruised, scarred, unstoppable, watched the stars, ready for the next reckoning.